Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on which I speak about astrology, and the Facebook page on which I wrote prophetic writings. The usual caveat, there are individuals who are impersonating me, and I invite you to avoid them because they're criminals, to put it simple. Now, in this video, God has guided me to talk about timelines from a different perspective. Namely, we spoke about timelines which God opens for you in order to break bondage and to elevate. Now, God asked me to talk about fake timelines created by these individuals who try to block your path, so you won't elevate spiritually, so you won't upgrade, and so on, and so you won't walk the spiritual path. Now, what happens in these situations, they create basically they create bondages, they create a fake narrative, a fake scenario, which they blame it on you to frame you, basically, and then they come together in these convents and they make judgments on you in order to and deliberate punishments on you, which they call them karma, but it's not karma, actually. It's a punishment enforced by them. Yeah, but they use this spiritual wording in which they call this karma for something that you have done either in this lifetime, and they simply create a fake reality. They use the doppelgangers in these attempts. This is why they create the doppelgangers, in order to create certain actions in your name. The doppelgangers really have a full-time activity to follow you and to create reality in your name. I'll give you an example. A doppelganger of me or of you will go commit criminal acts or illegal acts, and they will blame it on you. If they really want to do harm on you, they will try to frame you and get you punished in law enforcement and 3D justice system. But if not, if you're not too dangerous for them, they will come together in convents and they will deliberate judgments and punishments on you, saying that you have done a bad thing and then you have a karma to pay. And for this reason, they enforce that punishment on you, either stealing your rights, money, relations, connections, opportunities, resources, anything, or literally by doing harm onto you. The slander has the same purpose. Nothing is done just for the fun of it, although they do enjoy doing this. But much of it is done with a purpose. And God has guided me to give you one. They also have, I want to say one more thing before I give you an example. They also have, for example, in this convent, a book which they call a book of knowledge. And basically that book has a certain number of scenarios which are called timelines, and basically are literally scenarios created by them about so-called timelines in different lifetimes, things that you have done in previous lifetimes, which is not true, yeah, and for which you have to pay karma in this lifetime. You know, I guess they use this in order not to put the effort in to frame you, and they just use this book of knowledge with so-called previous lifetimes situations in which you have done something wrong, and for this reason they decide to punish you with karma, so-called karma, in this lifetime. This is really all just lies And of course, it's ideal that you identify all of these and break that bondage in spiritual realm, in astral, before it becomes reality. But sometimes you don't get to do that because either they move too fast, or that they succeed to block information to come to you in order to foresee what they are doing, and then you have to manage to break that in 3D reality. And God has guided me to give you one example. I don't know why, but I spoke about this example, but God said that I should give this example now. I said in other videos, last year, these individuals who have been gang stalking me for a long time, they killed 2 puppies from the street and they threw them in my courtyard. And when I woke up in the morning and I went to feed my own dogs, I found 2 dead bodies of 2 puppies in my courtyard. And I called the police, of course, and I asked the police to take the bodies and do necropsy, because I said, these are not my dogs. I don't know. They tried to poison my dogs before, but I saved them. And these 2, I just found them in the morning, and I don't know where are they from. And I believe they've been poisoned because they tried already a few times with my own dogs to poison them. And actually, God has shown to me that those dogs were poisoned. And the policeman didn't want to take the bodies, although it was in his job description to do that. Anyhow, I took myself the 2 dead bodies to necropsy, which was not my obligation. But since the policeman refused to take them, and it was Sunday, I had to take them to the necropsy. And I have official document proving that they were poisoned. And they threw them in my courtyard poisoned, dead. They made a video on their phone with me picking up the dogs from my courtyard, and God has shown to me that their intent was, because it was madness. I could not believe this was happening to me. And then God explained to me, Jesus actually said, the minute when you call the police, you already broke the bondage. And I was in dismay. I was, what kind of bondage you're talking about? And Jesus showed me that what they did was, they killed the 2 puppies and they threw the 2 puppies in my courtyard. In order to blame it on me, they were hoping that I will take the 2 puppies, 2 dead puppies, and I will bury them somewhere. This is how mad they are. They thought I will bury them somewhere. And they already made official complaint to authorities. And they said, this woman killed 2 dogs and she is doing witchcraft with them, and she buries them in the woods. A crazy story, Of course I didn't take the bodies out of my courtyard. And I called the police, and Jesus said, this is why I told you broke the bondage. Because they already were prepared with file a complaint against you, saying that you killed the puppies and you are doing witchcraft with the dead animals and so on. And I was in dismay. I was like, why would they do such a thing? Why would you do such a thing? And Jesus said, because this happened in summer 2021, and by then I already had a full year of working with animals in bondage breaking, in spiritual work through animals. I already made videos on that. You can go and watch. I already wrote prophetic writings on how you do this. I already explained that I intend to make a sanctuary for working spiritual work with animals. And I explained animals basically are also souls just like you and me, but they just embody in animals because they have a certain bondage and they cannot embody, they cannot incarnate in human form. But otherwise, many times, the pets you have can be soul lineage with you, and they can be actually either soul of one of your children or parents or whatever. I'm not getting into that details now. You can watch those videos. But the point is, they aimed to block me from working with animals anymore, because this was one part of my purpose in this incarnation, to teach, first of all, to do myself spiritual work with animals, and to teach others how to do this. Because this is very important. Those are souls which should be incarnating in human form like us, but they have a certain bondage on them, and they cannot incarnate in human form. And this is why they incarnate as animals. And as you help that soul to break the bondage, then they get to incarnate as humans and break further bondage and elevate. Anyhow, this is not the topic for this video, but God asked me to give you this example so you will understand how they will create a fake narrative, and then they basically they were prepared to take my own dogs away from me. And even so, when I called the police and the police came, the neighbor who created the setup to frame me came to the policeman and asked him to take my dogs, my own dogs, saying that my dogs are dangerous and my dogs killed those puppies. First of all, that it was my courtyard, and my dogs, if they would have defended my courtyard, would have only done a normal thing. First of all. Second of all, my dogs did not kill those dogs. They were poisoned. And it was proven after I took the dogs at the necropsy. But this is just an example so you will understand how they can create a fake narrative. And they actually had a corrupt policeman who agreed with them, refused to take the bodies of the two puppies with him in order to do necropsy, although by law he is his job description to do that. But he refused to take pictures. He refused to take the dogs. I even asked him, I said, come inside of my courtyard and show me how do you think these dogs got into my courtyard, because my fence is perfectly normal. It's not, there's no hole in my fence. And he refused to even enter my courtyard. But he was saying, your neighbor is right. We have to take your dogs away because they're dangerous. My dogs were so small that they were puppies themselves, and they only had like 2 kilograms each. Anyhow, the point is, so you will understand how a setup looks like. Everybody was in agreement about the same narrative. Even the policeman, when he arrived, he first went to the neighbor to talk to him. When you call 911, it's not normal that the policeman goes to talk to neighbors first. And then at the end, he comes to talk to you, who you asked for help. So he first went to talk to them. And then when he came to my gate, I waited for him half an hour to come out from my neighbor's courtyard. And then when he came to my gate, he already had the video from the neighbor. And instead of telling him it's illegal to film in her courtyard, to make a video of what she's doing in her courtyard, he actually was showing to me that video. And he was saying, I don't need your opinion. What happened? Your neighbor explained to me. I have a video from him. And we have to take all your dogs. So the policeman was corrupt and was fully in agreement with them. And I told him, listen, you're a policeman. How come you allow him to make videos of me in my courtyard? First of all, this is illegal. Second of all, this is my courtyard. Why you're not concerned how 2 puppies got into my courtyard? Who threw them in my courtyard? And third of all, why don't you take the puppies, the dead puppies, to check how they died? Because this is by law. You're forced to do this. He refused to do any of this. Anyhow, as I said, I told the policeman, listen, man, these puppies are not killed by my dogs. These puppies were poisoned. And if you refuse to take the bodies, I will take the bodies to the necropsy myself. And I will prove to you. Of course, I did so, and I made a formal complaint against the policeman as well. But God asked me to talk about this to show you. Yeah, God is telling me now that some of the people who are listening to me will be framed or are being framed as we speak. So you will understand that you have to go forward with your fight, even if it's a 3D already situation which they've created, because they will take on their side a lot of individuals, including officials from law enforcement and so on. There are many corrupt people in all institutions, and you have to just go forward with your fight, and you have to make sure to, because you see, as you are faced with these situations, of course it's a shock. So initially you don't understand what is going on. I didn't understand what was going on. I just understood because I knew that they were gang stalking me for so long. I understood that it's something that they created against me. That was clear to me. But I couldn't understand for the life of me what exactly they want to do. You know, I thought they just wanted to traumatize me, basically. I didn't imagine that they actually have a goal in this. And then Jesus showed me it's because they want to stop you from doing spiritual work with animals. At that time, I already wrote prophetic writings about doing spiritual work through animals, and it was already public knowledge that I do this. Anyhow, this is one example. You have to go forward. You don't stop. Even if you encounter an official who refuses to make justice, you go forward. If, like, for example, that policeman refused to do the right thing, I made official complaint against him. And you move forward, and you can make complaints about everyone who's trying to stop you from receiving justice. Yeah, I don't know who needs to hear this, but some of you probably will be framed, I imagine. Because this is what God is saying now, that you need to understand that sometimes you cannot receive divine guidance in time for you to actually cancel that, you know. So then you have to face the situation in 3D life, material existence, and you still can break the bondage. You just move forward. That's all. And to sum up, basically, these are timelines which they try to create for you. Fake timelines, basically. These are just fake realities which they try to create, and they always have a purpose in mind. And usually they target to create these situations in order to block you from using certain gifts, in order to create a bad reputation, or even to do harm on you, even to put you in prison or something like this. And as I said, the doppelgangers actually are very useful for them in these situations, and this is one of their purpose, in order to create fake realities in your name. For example, they will create a doppelganger with your impersonating you, and she will do prostitution. And they will claim that this is you. Or they will create a doppelganger of you who will go steal money. And they will say that this is your karma to pay. You know? And again, I say, not only that they create these fake realities, but they also come together to create the punishment on you. Yeah. And for this reason, they come into these convents and they say, you know, this woman has done this and this and this, and for this reason we decide that she needs to pay a fee or something crazy like this, and they steal your money for this. Yeah, so there are many ways sorry, there are many ways in which they decide to so-called punish you. They have no authority to punish you, and everything they create is a lie. And you, as long as you're confident, you must understand that as you move along and you break that bondage, even if you don't understand the bondage, just by doing the right thing, at some point you'll receive guidance. You know, this is what happened to me as well, because I didn't understand initially what is going on. It was clear to me that they created this, particularly because the neighbor who orchestrated all this came out of the balcony and was yelling at me threats while I was trying to pick up the dogs. So you can imagine. It was clear to me that he's done it. And actually he was yelling at me, "This will teach you a lesson." So it was very clear to me that he did it, you know. It was so obvious. I found it so obvious. And he yelled continuously for a long time at me, saying, "This will teach you a lesson. You pretend to love animals, but you don't love animals. Look what happened in your courtyard." Stupid shit like this. Anyhow, to sum up and to close the video, the point is, know that this is happening. They create fake timelines and they try to pull you into those. And they do this only in order to preclude you from moving forward, to trauma bond you, because going through all of this obviously will affect you, to drain you of energy, to create more slander on you, to create fake punishments on you, basically to create problems for you. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Yeah, you just need to move forward. And as I said, although initially I didn't understand what was going on, after I called the police, Jesus started revealing to me slowly and slowly what was going on. So I learned afterwards what was their intention and what they intended to create against me. And afterwards I even learned why they wanted to create this. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna close this video here. I believe the message is clear. They are always trying to create this, either by creating a circumstance in current reality, a setup for you, or by using a scenario of so-called previous lifetime timeline or situation for which you are supposed to pay some sort of karma in this lifetime, which are all lies. All lies. Those are invented by them. You know? So be cautious and be confident in moving forward and breaking all of those bondages, because this is what they are, bondages, lies, in order to block you, to steal from you, to do harm on you, basically. Yeah. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. You must know that God will wait for you to break that bondage which they succeed to create, but then God will move you to a different timeline by upgrading you, elevating you, and then basically you're done with that circumstance. Yeah. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about this. If not, then I will see you in the next video.